Welcome to Dave Doing Stuff, the Blacksmith series. I'm learning to be a blacksmith on my own the hard way, and today I'm talking about putting my anvil on a wooden block so I don't start a grass fire anymore and it's easier on my back. Come on along with me.
This is really something. Look at the size of these things. This is ash. Just harvested a little while ago, like within the last month or so. It's already starting to dry out and crack, so I want to oil it to keep it more.
I want to try and preserve the wood as best I can, so I'm using vegetable oil. You could use motor oil, new motor oil, used motor oil. Just something to try and get the moisture into the wood so it doesn't dry out too quickly and crack and check.
You, like me, may not have any place to really do anything. You may not have a workshop. This is my storage room in the basement, such that it is. And here is the blacksmith department. I've got my hammers, my grinder, and here are my anvils and things. Let me show you. This is about a 15 or 20 pounder that I picked up. This is a 60-pound anvil I picked up from someone who was trying to be a blacksmith and decided they didn't really want to do it anymore. And this is a 90-pound Peter Wright forged anvil. I bought this in British Columbia. This is one we're working with today. It's old, but it's a beauty. I also have a 400-pound anvil out in the parking lot. I didn't bring it downstairs, but we're not going to do anything with it right now. Along with the railway tracks that you saw in the first video. If you haven't seen it, feel free to watch it. This is the one we're working with today. This is a forged anvil. You know it's a forged anvil for two reasons. One is it has a little, what they call mouse holes, down underneath on each side. Those are holes they use for the big tongs to pick it up when it's heated up. And a forged anvil, as opposed to a cast anvil, has the emblem of the make stamped into it. In a cast anvil, the emblem is proud. It sticks out like it's embossed. So that's the one we're taking out today.
Everything about being a blacksmith is heavy. The anvils are heavy, the tools are heavy. Even the block of wood the anvil sits on is heavy. This one weighs about 130 pounds. But I think that's one of the things I enjoy most about the hobby of blacksmithing is it gets me off the couch and keeps me active.
Now this is a much bigger block than it needs to be. Okay, so I have a bit of an issue here. If I stand, this block hasn't been squared up yet, and if I stand, it's short, which is unfortunate. And this is a copy of the sketch that I sent the guy when he made up these, when he cut these for me. And I said I wanted it to be 21.5 by 14. And the end grain was supposed to be the 21.5 dimension, but it's not. The 21.5 dimension is crossways. He made it the right size, 21.5 by 14, but he made it to stand up, which is be a bit of a challenge for me. It's unfortunate. I think the preferred way to do it is with the end grain up and down. There, well, that's just the right height now. Pretty cool, really, but so now I've got I can trim it. I gotta tell you though, that's a whole lot better than having it on the ground. There's no question about that.
So first I shimmed the block so it was level horizontally, and then I could mark the right and left sides of the anvil with my level to get a nice plumb square line. I'm going to leave the mass of the block at the far side of the anvil for future tool storage. But then I had to get it cut, and I'm not a chainsaw guy, so I took it to a good friend of mine, Doug, who is an expert woodsman. And that's another great thing about blacksmithing as a hobby. People take interest in it, and they're willing to help you a little bit, and you get to spend time with people you like and people you respect.
This is taking me a lot longer than I ever thought it would to get this anvil base worked out, but here we go. The next step I need to do is anchor the anvil to the base, but it's rocky because this surface isn't even. And so what I'm going to do is, instead of having the bottom of the block be one solid piece of wood, I'm going to hollow it out a little bit and give it almost legs. Here's the idea. I'm going to make 3 legs, maybe like this. If I am on uneven ground, only the 3 points will touch. And all this, if there's a little rock or a little stone or something there, I can hopefully wiggle it around so it's a little more stable. Now, I could do that a couple of ways. I'm going to take this around the back to do it there. Okay, so now the question becomes, what are you going to use to take out that wood you want to take out on the base of the anvil? And you could use a router for sure, with a flat-bottomed cutter. Take off 1/4 of an inch, be very easily done. You do that for sure. I think you could also use an angle grinder with a wood cutting disc in it. And I don't know if this is a wood cutting disc or not, to be honest with you. But you know, you see those guys, they carve the bears and the eagles out of stumps and things, you know. I think this is what they use some of the time. So I'm going to try this first just to see how it works, because I'm curious. If it doesn't work the way I think it should, then I'll switch over and use the router. So you'll witness it here first. That was amazing. So now I just have to hollow out this part here. I can't believe how easy that was with that angle grinder. It's just amazing. Now I just want to take off a little bit here because the surface is going to be a little bit uneven. I'm not going to be on gravel or anything. I just want to make sure that it's hitting on the 2 outsides and there's air. See you can see the light underneath the level? That's good. If I have an obstruction bigger than that, I will move it. Good enough. I've been dreading that job. It only took a few minutes. This, I'll have room for a tool or two or something in there. And then these guys, and I think I'm probably going to need a little bit of getting used to how steel isn't like wood for fitting. And here we go. This is, it's 13 below out here this morning, so I'm not sure how long these batteries on this camera is going to keep functioning. I got the first 2 pieces of threaded rod in. Well, they're set there. You see they're relatively parallel with each other just by lining them up. They're close. I mean, close enough for me. It is just a big chunk of steel on a wooden block, for heaven's sakes. There's a limit to how difficult you want to make this. There's a lot of different ways you could make guides, and you could try and figure this out to make sure you're going the way you want to go. I'm using my sliding T-bevel as a visual guide for the up and down part, and I'm just going to eyeball the right to left part. I got this one started, so I line it up this way. That's about right. That's close, and then just ease it in. Here we are. There's one. So then what I do is I like to take the threaded rod, you slide it in. And now this one will become a very good visual guide for the other side. Again, my right to left is simple. It's going to start about the same place as the other one did. Let's get over close to it. I'll do this in real time so you can see it. All I'm doing now is just starting about even with this threaded rod, giving my right to left. And now, and you may be able to see it from there, all I do now is lower this bit down to where it becomes parallel with this threaded rod. It's an easy visual guide. Let me see if I can change the positioning a bit. I don't know if this is even recording because it's so friggin' cold out here, but let's see. We'll just see. Lower it down. Now there it is, mounted and bolted down. I want to set the anvil on a bed of silicone between the anvil and the wood. I want a bed of silicone, only it's 13 degrees below outside here in Canada right now. And the silicone takes 10 to 12 hours to cure, and I can't keep this block and the steel warm enough for that length of time. So for now, I'm going to use it just the way it is, and then in the springtime I'll just pop off these nuts on top and I'll set it down on a bed of silicone. But there we have it. Now it's time to start building a forge.